What up? It's the Normies, Brown, Pat, Mickey, Mikey, D, MJ, Tony Kukoc, Scottie Pippen. I forgot Steve Kerr. There we go.
He didn't name Dennis Rodman.
Oh, no, you were Dennis Rodman. Mickey was Dennis Rodman.
Got to name Dennis.
I'm Rodman.
Mickey's Dennis Rodman.
I'll take it.
Got to name Dennis. You name Dennis, Mike, Scotty, and you name one of the shooters. It's acceptable.
Yeah.
BJ.
Steve Kerr, Tony Kukoc.
Ron Harper is an honorable mention too. I'd probably mention Ron Harper before Steve Kukoc. This is real shit.
Tony Kukoc, bro. Tony Kukoc used to be good.
No, but Ron Harper used to lock down. He was a defensive dude. He was a point guard that could lock down.
But Tony Kukoc was a point forward.
Ron Harper was a point guard who could lock down the other team's shooting guard. The Bulls were so special on D. That's like, they played small ball before everybody did. So they had Dennis Rodman who could stick anybody 1 through 5. You had Ron Harper who could stick anybody damn near 1 through 3. Michael Jordan and Scotty can stick anybody 1 through 3, almost 1 through 4. It was nuts. Scotty used to stick other teams' power forwards, bro. Like the Bulls were, they used to switch everything. It's cheat code. Tony Kukoc was literally there to score. You could run a play for Tony Kukoc.
I thought Tony was more of a point forward, but
I mean, no, because that was Scotty's job. Tony Kukoc was literally to make space. You could play him at the 4. And make your other 4 have to come out of the paint to play Tony, because Tony could hit threes. Like, they literally played how the Warriors used a lot of plays from the Bulls, bro. They, like, a lot of part of the Warriors move, like, their motion offense was inside of the triangle. They set up the triangle, run their motion in the triangle. Dead ass.
Well, shit, last episode was on, I think we would... Gambling. Mostly. Jordan White, when he would leave because of the media. How he didn't want to be a role model.
It was a setup for what this episode was going to be about.
It's a setup?
Because we all know he fucking left.
Oh, yeah.
So that episode was the setup for him leaving.
So this was probably just going to be based on his retirement, what he did that year?
I think so.
Yeah, I believe so. Because that's what came next after all.
Sometimes it goes back and forth so much, like I don't know what part of my...
Yeah, they kept going from 93 to 98, and they keep...
You know what I mean?
And Jordan looks the same all year round, so I don't know which year.
Just different goatee. Facial hair is the only thing that
He's young, bro. He just looks the same.
He does,
facial
bro.
hair.
I don't know if it's 98 or 93.
Boy, those cigars did not affect him at all.
Nah, bro.
His game looks different.
Huh?
His game looks different. As you see,
as he aged, yeah.
When he first was watching in the first 3 years, he was unstoppable. The move with him beating 2 people from the half court line with the layup at the guy at the hole became mid-range jump shots.
Remember, this is not a market substitute. Please check it out on your own time. You can watch it on Hulu we're watching it on Hulu, but by the time this is out, you might be watching it on Netflix. Who knows? Check it out, though. Check it out on your own time. Then come back and join us for our reactions. If you want to get ahead on these, it's on our Patreon, along with lots of other good stuff. Check it out there. You can support us on our Patreon. It's free to join if you want to just get updates from us, but you can support us there too. And helps us grow the channel and do, lots of new content and stuff. We haven't done I think this is the first sports documentary we're doing, so
yeah.
We like to experiment. We like to do new stuff. Subscribe, comment, share, and hit the like button, because that's the best thing you can do for us for free. $1.99.
All right,
let's do that.
Watching this team as they embarked on the playoffs, you just had the feeling that Michael Jordan was mentally, emotionally exhausted.
I bet.
The last year we won, I remember thinking Michael Jordan was the most tired man in the world. He was exhausted.
After we won the championship, I sat in the gym with my father. In the back of my mind, I knew that was probably my last game. And no one really knew except for my father and myself.
He was my rock. We were very close. He constantly gave me advice.
That LeBron didn't really have, by the way.
Well, LeBron had a lot of little role models.
Nothing beat somebody that raised
That's true.
James Jordan was there when his son Michael led the Chicago Bulls to their first NBA championship in 1991. James and Dolores Jordan remained an anchor for him.
Around the NBA, James Jordan relished his stand-in role for a superstar son.
To tell you how proud I am, I'd have to search for more words than what I've got.
Like when Michael Jordan's your son.
Man. I don't know.
I like to talk about it, but I feel like I'm bragging,
I was supposed to pick up Michael's father from the airport. He was supposed to come into town for a charity event that Michael was throwing. And I went to the airport to pick up his dad, and he never showed up.
When we didn't hear from him, we both thought, well, okay, they're still playing golf.
She said, well, just come on back. Don't worry about him. You know, he probably got sidetracked a little bit. He'll show up.
I was off doing my thing, and you know.
What was your thing, Mike?
Talk to him,
What was your thing, Mike?
Was it unusual for him to be out in contact with you?
Oh yes, definitely unusual. I knew something went right.
Man, to be Michael Jordan's brother, bro, you'd be like, God damn, what the fuck happened to me?
Well, I was saying, if he was 6'5", he would have been just as good. Larry was fucking nice.
Yeah.
We're coming on the air now with word that the body of James Jordan has been found in a creek near the border between South and North Carolina.
Investigators say Jordan was driving late at night when he pulled off the road to take a nap.
And at that time, he was shot in the chest.
2 18-year-old men are charged with the robbery and murder of James Jordan.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, I did not know this either. Somebody shot his daddy.
Yeah, they rotting in prison for life right now.
One of the things that he always taught me is that you have to take a negative and turn it into a positive. So I started looking to the other side of it. And that helped me get through it.
though. That's beautiful.
When his dad was murdered, all the articles, the speculation that came out, it was not journalism's finest hour.
The violent death sparked a half-dozen theories about the motive, some including possible connections to gambling.
Imagine how your father gets killed and now they're blaming you. I mean, that was really cheap shot
I mean, if you notice, that guy said Mike owed him 1.6 mil. Mike didn't pay a lot of his gambling. That's what the rumors came from. He didn't pay.
He's an idiot for not doing that, though. Especially when you have the money.
He expressed that he was outraged by some media speculation linking his behavior to his father's murder. I simply cannot comprehend how others could intentionally pour salt in my open wound by insinuating that mistakes in my life are in some way connected to my father's death.
There isn't a thimble's worth of evidence to connect that horrible incident to my...
I want to know what did happen, though, why, and who.
It's probably just another robbery.
And what the fuck happened to those two kids?
This old dude sleeping in a nice car off the side of the road.
They didn't ask questions, they just shot. Took whatever was in there.
I want to know what happened to those two motherfuckers.
Oh, they're in jail.
They went to jail.
Still in jail.
As the Chicago White Sox greet the world champion Toronto Blue Jays,
Michael was scheduled to throw out the first pitch.
I'm watching a White Sox playoff game. Kid comes up and says, Mr. Ranzark wants to talk to you. He said Michael was quitting. So what?
That game was on Tuesday, and we wanted to hold the story until Wednesday, but it leaked out.
breaking story here, the Chicago Bulls have called a press conference
at the baseball game.
At the game. The same game he threw the first pitch out of. By the end of the game, they knew he was quitting.
Sorry, it kind of happened in Game of Luck. Kind of like happened in Luck.
But they didn't, Mike wasn't getting booed and shit like that.
They were confused.
He was confused, he was scared.
The superstar is frequently the talk of the town. This time, the talk is more like a chorus of mourning.
Michael all smiles, really. Jerry Reinsdorf, Bill Jackson, Jerry Krause, NBA Commissioner David Stern, even in attendance.
Damn, you David Stern came out?
Yeah. Yes, the NBA was retiring. Like.
There's a certain sadness because the greatest athlete to ever play a team sport is leaving the game. But it's really, for me, a very, very happy day because somebody who I admire and respect is doing exactly what he wants to do.
I cried too.
The word retire means you can do anything you want from this day on. So if I desire to come back and play again, maybe that's what I want to do. Maybe that's the challenge that I may need someday down the road. I'm not going to close that door.
Foreshadowing.
That was it.
It was. Because we all figured he'd come back. That's what led to the suspension shit. Because we always felt like he didn't want to leave when he left. Like, it was so weird, bro. So weird.
I needed some time
so weird.
Need to recharge those batteries.
You immediately think, why? Nobody could.
What do you mean, why? Like, his fucking father got money.
You just won 3, but no one's beating you. Why would you retire? Seriously though. I mean, I get media or whatever, that's fine, but you winning rings.
Michael did leave abruptly in the middle of a gambling investigation.
And you start to connect some dots and you think, is this all related? Was this a secret suspension?
The conspiracy stuff was stupid because I had sat with him a year earlier. He told me what he was going to do. I said, so what are you going to do? There's a long pause and he said, I'm going to shock the world. He said, no, I'm going to quit and go play baseball.
I'd like to announce that the Chicago White Sox are extending an invitation to Major League Camp in Sarasota.
Bro, the Jordan White Sox gear that came out is now like a trade. It's like a treasure. It only happened for a little while. It had the combination. It came up with the cleats, the Jordan socks, jackets. It was huge.
He loves baseball. His father always wanted to play baseball.
It was always his father's dream that he'd be a baseball player. And so I didn't try to talk him out of it, but I did say to him, playing baseball is a lot harder than you think it is.
And then they knew his dad and knew he wanted him to play ball. It wasn't a secret amongst the people that knew him.
He played baseball until he was 17 years old. Then doesn't play baseball again until he's 31 years old. We don't send anybody to AA after they come out of college or high school. But we couldn't do that with Michael because the press facilities were inadequate. AA. So put him at AA. Strictly because we needed to be able to handle the media.
Michael Jordan went to the Birmingham Barons, the AA farm team of the Chicago White Sox.
I remember being in Birmingham, Alabama. You never in a zillion years would have thought you're at a minor league game. You can't believe commotion, the excitement.
That shit is probably worth so much money now. Anybody that's got shit like that in there?
I'm telling you, it is. Any of them.
Shit, he might come back and play now since there's no media and fans. You got a bubble? Oh, you want competition? No fans, no media? I don't have to talk to nobody? I'm there. I'm there.
I realized quickly how much he respected what we were doing.
1-1 pitch to Michael. Looping drive and was
I feel like this helped him win the next year. Dude said it'd be detrimental to his basketball. I feel like he less wear and tear on his body for a little while.
Oh yeah.
I feel like what Ryan Stahl said, it's a different game. It's a different part of your body you're using.
Yeah. He would come in after regular batting practice, hit some more before the game, and then would hit again after the game. By the time we got to August, you could see it just building.
Call up in the 7th. It's a fly ball. That's deep. Left field. That's back and
He used to make news when he hit a home run. It would make news.
I think the time away in baseball freed his mind of, obviously what had happened to his father. When you're on the road with a baseball team, your family doesn't travel with you, so you hang out with the guys that you're with, and that was all of his teammates.
They treated me just as, I wanted to be treated, just one of the guys.
It was good. It was good for him. He was like a kid again.
That was after he hit the home run. He hit the home run. but it's kind of hard to treat you like shit. Like when you the greatest, and you go out there on the field and you like the bench warmer on our team, bro.
Scotty Burrell was a talented guy.
And Scott Burrell, an exceptional basketball player.
What Scotty was lacking was commitment, determination, seriousness.
How can you be great if you don't have all those things?
I tried to get him to fight me a couple of times. In a good sense, just to get it. Man, I'm tired of you picking on me. I'm, that type of mentality, I could never get.
He said I tried to get Scott Burrell to fight me. I couldn't get him to do it.
You're playing with a guy that has the highest standards of any basketball player ever. You want to live up to that challenge. It's tough love. I mean, you got to go out there and do your job.
He called him a bitch and a hoe. They didn't blink it out when I first saw it. I don't know what happened. Like, bitch.
Definitely stay down.
My mentality was to go out and win at any cost. If you don't want to live that regimented mentality, then you don't need to be alongside of me. Because I'm going to ridicule you until you get on the same level with me.
Why you keep fucking up there playing, you big fat head motherfucker? You dumbass.
I wonder how many people can get on the level of Michael Jordan.
Not many people, that's a problem.
We kind of needed that, you know what I'm saying? I needed him to be the bad guy, the tough guy.
You make a damn jump shot all night long. I mean, did you make it? You made one, didn't you? I feel bad for you, dog.
Damn.
Cat sick, go home and feed it. Marina cat child.
He said, I feel sorry for you, dog.
Each and every day, he's going to push you to try to get you where he is. But I'm not sure if he knows that only he can achieve those goals, but he can push other guys to try to get there, though.
The Bulls held their first workout minus Michael Jordan today. The central peg gone from a 9-year era. That left the Bulls with several key challenges and question marks about the upcoming season.
We're fucked.
Oh shit, it's over for it. This is the Scotty episode.
Scotty was our prime motivator, initiator, organized the offense.
He was the point guard, so it was really easy for him to transition, like make the transition he made. He didn't change his game.
Michael would just bludgeon everybody around him. And Scotty was the much softer touch, the guy who would sort of comfort you when things weren't going well, put his arm around you.
Everyone expected me to try to be the man, but we beat teams by committee, and we just learned to play together and share the ball and win together.
You saw that? It was like 5 or 6 passes.
Yeah.
That was the season Phil did his best coaching.
Coach, I heard Chuck Daly the other day say, let's see the triangle offense work now without Michael. Did he really say that? Wait till I see Chuck.
His star player was Pippen, who is not a scorer. He's a facilitator.
That's why it worked. Pitt played like LeBron James that year. He played just how LeBron plays. Attack the hole, kick it to shooters.
We ended up playing the Knicks in the East semis. We were down 2-0, and we were trying to get back in the series. Patrick Ewing made a shot with about 2 seconds left to tie the game. You know, we were at risk of losing the whole series right there.
Chicago have taken their last timeout to set up a shot with 1.8 seconds.
This is where you wish you had Jordan.
You got something better.
So on the bench, I have the sequence that Tony has run before, and he scored before. I know he could do this.
I did hit a lot of last-second shots during the season.
I felt like it was an insult coming from Phil. I was the most dangerous guy on our team.
This is a season where he's taken the role of Michael.
That's all. If he hadn't played with Michael Jordan, it never would have happened.
He thought it should be him taking the shot. And so Jim Clemens came over and said, Scotty's not going in. Phil said, what do you mean he's not going in?
And I go down and I said, are you in or out? And he said, I'm out.
I remember Phil said, fucking Pete Myers, come on in.
When Pip refused to go in that game, it was like a Twilight Zone moment. Like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, bro, you quit. Fuck you on that.
Well, why did you choose to sit out?
Because he didn't want to get the last shot.
Never been done before this or after this. It's a huge moment.
Money. That's right. The franchise hit that.
He yelling all in the Knicks' faces and shit.
There's your defense.
Well, I was obviously happy for making a shot, but the whole situation, even going towards the locker, you see everybody is like pissed that
Damn, this is after a win.
One of our favorite teammates. He quit on us. And that we couldn't believe that happened.
Yeah, you quit on your team, bro. That's fucked up.
It was.
So I just stressed to the team, this is something that we never thought would ever happen, that we'd stop playing. You know, it's affected us as a whole team, Scotty, that you did this.
What I remember most, though, is Bill Cartwright after the game.
Bill Cartwright gets up and makes this speech. Pip, you let us down. I cannot believe. And he started crying.
And he said, Scotty, I cannot believe that you quit on us like that.
And they won. Like.
To go out. Like
Kuko's just like, damn it, man, come on, man. What the
He said, this motherfucker still stole my fucking thunder. He said, you still got the thunder, asshole.
The next day, I get a call from Michael. He said, I don't know if Scotty's ever gonna live this down.
It's always gonna come back down at some point in some conversation. Pip knows better than that.
It's one of those incidents where I wish it never happened, but if I had a chance to do it over again, I probably wouldn't change it.
Nigga, saying you wish it never happened and saying you go back and change it. Like, Scotty just looked so bad, bro. Like,
With that kind of mentality he had, you can't be a nice guy. He would be difficult to be around if you didn't truly love the game of basketball. He is difficult.
Winning has a price, and leadership has a price. So I pulled people along when they didn't want to be pulled. And I earned that right because my teammates came after me. They didn't endure all the things that I endured.
I stayed by this. Like, Isaiah Thomas and them didn't beat y'all ass. Like, y'all don't know what that feel like, what that felt like losing, crying on the bus. Mike cried on the bus after losing to the Pistons in front of everybody.
Once you join the team, you live at a certain standard that I played the game, and I wasn't gonna take any less. Now, that means I had to go in there and get in your ass a little bit, and I did that.
Mike didn't mind getting in your ass a little bit.
When people see this, they're gonna say, well, he wasn't really a nice guy. He may have been a tyrant. Well, that's you, because you never won anything.
True. Sound like a fucking loser to me.
It smelled like bitch in here.
That's why I don't believe the hoopla. Because winning comes at a price, so the leadership.
Yeah.
It's a reason why he's considered the best, because he was willing to do the shit that you. And some of the people we considered great was like, nah, I'm not gonna do that.
Because that's how I played the game. That was my mentality. If you don't want to play that way,
Don't play.
don't play that way.
Break. This is the most famous part from the show, right? The dude talked about that happened on the first day. He said that clip when he cried happened on the first day. He said we never even practiced getting breaks. He said when Michael Jordan said you take a break, he said, dude, I didn't even have to use the bathroom. He said I got up and went to the bathroom and stood in the bathroom for 5 minutes because Michael Jordan just told me to go take a break.
For real?
I swear to God.
Where's that?
It's the
like the behind.
So the guy who is in charge of this is actually Klay Thompson's uncle.
Okay.
It's Klay Thompson's uncle. Michael Thompson's brother was the guy who shot a lot of this shit. And he came on to Chicago sports radio with Carmen Yurko and the guys, and he talked about how no, it was Waddle and Sylvie. With Waddle and Sylvie, he talked about how this was while it was going on. Like he would come in and have interviews. He talked about how did it go? And he was like, man, like I always tell people about the first meeting that we had. He's like, when he made the comment about his teammates, that was the first meeting. And that's really how we kicked it off. Like he was giving up good stuff immediately. The clip of him telling us to break was the first day. And it was like 45 minutes of being into his house. He was already talking about some of the stuff we wanted to hear about. And he cried. He cried when he did that. Like he just told us break. And me and the camera guy looked at each other because we hadn't even really discussed how these breaks are gonna work. You know what I'm saying? Like that's we shoot stuff. To get in this good moment and just cut a clip isn't necessarily what they wanted to do. But he just talked about how it was crazy. And after that, like it was just so open. He was so open from the first day. He's like, I felt really comfortable because I felt like Mike wanted to tell this story. Mm-hmm. Like he wanted people to know some of the intricate stuff. He said it was nothing off. There were no questions we couldn't ask. Famously, Mike didn't like the Isaiah Thomas question. He famously didn't like talking about his dad. He also didn't like talking about the relationship with past teammates, some of the disgruntled guys. He talked about all that shit. Like so far, you've heard him discuss all that shit. So I mean, it was even though it wasn't what we wanted to see, like a true depiction of what was going on. We got a really deep insight on Mike and something that we had never really gotten. Mm-hmm. Like Come Fly With Me, all that shit wasn't really shit on Mike. This is the greatest. The greatest thing we've got as far as getting a peek inside of what he was thinking at certain times. So, good experience, man. I'm glad they went back and covered a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, this was a good episode. This was one of my favorite ones, I think.
I liked it a lot. I was surprised where I hate when people when the greats always get shitted on, when they demand best from their teammates.
Yeah.
But at that same point, it's like you playing with him. If you not you should be. Be grateful to play with somebody like this.
Right. He's
going to elevate your game to the next level that you didn't even realize.
Yes and no, but it's a balance of you got to have. I totally agree with Jordan's methods. Like he's the type of person that's going to break you down to build you back up. But you got to have a little bit of Pippen in you too, because people always want to go with the mentality of hey man, look, if I can do it, you can do it.
Right.
But that's not true with people like Michael Jordan. There's people that are so exceptional. Usually that's true. If I can do it, you can do it. Usually that's true 90% of the time. But there's people like Michael Jordan where
those 10%ers.
There's a lack of awareness. There's a lack of awareness on their part that maybe they can't quite
right. So how do you feel about that?
I just feel like
what's going on.
See, people react differently. It's just constructive criticism versus harsh criticism.
Right.
I grew up with you're gonna keep practicing until you get it right.
You agree with that?
Yeah.
Right.
But at the same time, I understand some people not, I don't want to say coddle, but they rather be treated nicer or whatever to get that message across. It just depends. Now I think this era, being I guess a little sensitive, they're gonna react better to
Like the Pippen.
Nicer.
Yeah.
Pippen way.
I
There's
feel
no
like-
way Jordan could come in right now and try to yell at
it
his
wouldn't
team.
work.
It'd be like Jimmy Butler.
We literally watched it die out with Kobe when Kobe got older, and nobody really wanted to go there with Kobe because of how Kobe was really perceived.
I think Jordan was just missing this in his method. Is like I agree with the tear you down to build you back up, but I think what he was missing is just maybe a moment or two with his teammates to be like, look, guys, I do this because.
Right.
I don't think he ever had that conversation.
I
think he was just the asshole.
Me personally,
100%
it had
of the
nothing
time.
to do with him being Michael Jordan. No, I think he talked about it. He said it like you just said. I mean, you kind of took it. I was gonna say like I think what he didn't do was he really explained to them the why.
Yeah, exactly.
They were too busy. He was too busy trying to be the monster instead of like explaining to them why. Because like real quick, bro. Michael Jordan was like the greatest player the moment he got to the league. He was leading the league in scoring by year 2.
Yeah.
Like, that's like it's unheard of. And like for the Pistons to send him home, bro. Isaiah Thomas to this day still has a winning record against Michael Jordan. Like by a lot. It's like 14, 15 games. It's like a lot. And I said to say like when they got past the Pistons, it was so emotional because they sent them home. Was it 3 years in a row?
Mm-hmm.
It was absurd. So like I feel like that's where it came from. Michael Jordan wasn't even that asshole until after he got his ass whooped and had to go gain weight to go beat a team. And after that, it's like it's not just Michael Jordan. If you guys are fans of basketball, you watch this guy get his ass whooped on national TV. That's something that once you go through, you always want to be on the opposite side of that. So like he swore after going through that, I'd never show up on TV without dogs with me.
Yeah.
And like he made sure he brought dogs with him every time. Like you go back and watch YouTube clips of them old Pistons games. Like it was absurd to watch the Bulls try to score.
His teammates are even saying like they really understood the impact years later. It's like during that time, Michael's difficult to be around. He's a complete asshole. But then years later, you kind of look back on it and you're like, okay, I get what he was trying to do. But that's what I'm saying. Like for people like Michael Jordan that are on that like very pinnacle, like I think it's hard to have that self-awareness because you don't want to be too braggy about yourself, but he was exceptional, and it's like it should have been more like, hey man, if I can do it, y'all can at least try to keep up with me. Because
it's not. I think his biggest problem was not keep up with me, or like try not the attitude. Not you don't even have to be like me, or you don't have to score a amount, or just just have the mentality and have the hard work to do it.
We now know it as the mama mentality, but it came from Mike. It's a mentality like everybody couldn't be Kobe. He wanted everybody to have the mama mentality.
He did in baseball. Like he learned how to be a professional baseball player in nearly 6 months. That amount of hard work that takes from, and that's what I'm saying. It's not about being exceptional. It's just about what you're willing to sacrifice. Like he said, he literally tore off a second skin in his hand just to hit baseball best and just to be average. That's just to be fucking average. Yeah. So like,
and Terry Francona, his manager, wanted to screw up. He's a Hall of Famer.
It just shows like there's some people who want to put it and some people who don't, and the people who don't want to put it, like maybe just like make excuses and say he was just too hard on me. But I feel like. But like you said, like after they learned it 15 years later, they've realized, hey, actually it was the best for me. I learned from that. Yeah. It actually made me a better person. Yeah. At the time.
But in that time, if Mike maybe had like 1 or 2 moments of like maybe a team speech, be like, look guys, I know I'm an asshole, but this is why I do this.
And I feel like he did it correctly in the sense of like, Mike didn't do that shit in games. Yeah. If you watch Mike in games, especially in that you was talking, Mike sitting there by himself, quiet as a mouse. You beat up on your brothers in practice when ain't nobody watching, when you like, this is family business in here. After they had that close game against the Nets, they said like they all were afraid of going to see their big brother the next day. Because you knew he was gonna bring that sauce today. Because and that's like, to me, I play sports. That's how it is, bro. Yeah. When we do something physical, sitting down talking, kumbaya is for them coaches to do. If you lace up and we putting on helmets and shit together, I'm gonna show you another way of doing it. You don't talk to them coaches. Me and you gonna get physical out here. Yeah. So like, I'm not against it at all, man. And Mike, like being in Chicago, we embodied that. Like I feel like most people feel like we wasn't just Mike being the greatest. We embodied what Mike's attitude, his spirit, like that competitive energy. That's really like that Chicago vibe, man. I'm not trying to put it just on us, but he was just a great, that mentality worked well for us. Yeah. It was a blue collar mentality, man. Work hard, and if everybody worked hard, we all win.
But I do agree with Mickey and Decent. I don't think that that type of mentality would work in this NBA.
No.
There's no way. There's people who go soft. Like I strongly think what Jimmy Butler's doing, he's doing nothing wrong. I think he's just around with soft ass motherfuckers.
I agree.
He's just around soft ass motherfuckers who can't handle criticism. That's all it is.
Him and Pat Riley was a marriage made in heaven. Him and Pat Riley was a marriage made in heaven.
My other thing is like when you're like on a winning team, or if you're like doing well at something, you get successful at something.
Yeah.
You get comfortable almost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You stop doing certain things, or like you won't give that A+ effort.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
You know what I mean? So like that was one of his also fears. Is like the team's like you could probably even see it like the team's like, Mike, relax, dude, we won. Like it's not a big deal.
We're sitting on
chill.
3,
like enjoy this. It's like no, dude, you don't get it. Like
we almost lost.
We almost lost, but like this type of like behavior is not going to help us win that next level.
Yeah,
He's like that's like where his frustrations would get, because it's like I've been there.
Yeah.
And at the same time, like think about it, like school, like valedictorians, like everyone's like, all right, cool. Like you're going through high school, you're like, all right, good. I got what I need to just to get into a college.
Right.
Then you got some of those guys that are like honors because they want to get that valedictorian to get into great college.
Right.
And then you have that one person that wants to separate themselves from everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So like you cannot get comfortable, and that was his biggest like. I guess that would annoy him the most is when like Scott Burrell's like, oh,
and it's not even
it's a nonchalant, like relaxed attitude.
It's them getting complacent.
He didn't want them to settle.
I feel like also like since Jordan came in the league, he always had the target on his back. Every team came after him.
Yeah.
Every team was always going to bring their best after him. And I feel
Why though, Pat?
Because he's one of the best players.
He was the
best player.
And real quick, not like the real reason why I think Mike would succeed today is because everybody thinks they're Mike, bro. Like what you saw was the respect he garnered around the whole NBA. Everybody knew he was king. So like that doesn't happen no more. Nobody's gonna give you that no more. It's over with. Like,
I'm reading this book on like habits and shit, and it is what you guys are talking about, like the Mamba mentality. So there's a thing with goal setting. Is like when you set a goal, you can work as hard as Mike to go attain that goal, but the problem is when most people attain that goal, that's the end of the line.
Yeah.
And then they get more
they
get more comfortable. So like the thing is like you don't want to set goals, you want to set trajectories. So Michael said, I want to be the greatest basketball player, and that's a forever thing. You know what I mean? Like just because he won 3 championships, that doesn't mean he's
the greatest player ever.
Yeah, he's not slowing down because his goal isn't to win 1 or 2 or 3 championships. His goal is to win championships, period. You know what I mean? So
I mean, to be all honest, I don't even know if that was Mike's goal to start out, bro. I happen to believe
that's crazy.
I happen to believe he left North Carolina, got to the league, and realized he said Dean Smith was the only person that could keep him, that could stop him.
I feel like his goal is to win the rings, but his goal is not to be the role model. Like you said, I didn't want to be. The media made him that guy. Like he never wanted it. Like,
what
he had a lot to do with it too. The Jordan brand, they created.
No, that's
the
thing is like
what really did it is I want to be like Mike.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's it, Mickey. That's it.
I want to be like Mike. And it was
if
done.
I can be like Mike,
it's done and over with. Done and over.
It was over with after that.
But I mean, that's the thing too. Is like I respect Mike for like living his life. Like, hey, I'm gonna do what I want to do. But like, when you do get to that echelon of fame, like whether you like it or not, a brand is created around you, and whether you like it or not, people are looking up to you.
Charles Barkley famously was singing that song on the clip when they were in the Olympics, and Charles Barkley also famously has a commercial. The very beginning of the commercial, he puts his face in the camera and says, "I am not an icon." Dead ass. It's it's a very unique thing because his brand was the anti-Mike. So it was like Charles Barkley didn't have to live up to the Mike standards because that's how they branded him as a bad guy. And it worked out. Dead ass. It worked out great. It worked out great for him.
Yeah, that was
Mike's brand was the untouchable Captain America.
pressure.
He made that brand. Like they made that. Nike and him made that I'm untouchable Mr. Clean look. Like they made that brand.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Once a brand is created around you, like whether you want it or not, that is what it is, and you gotta be cooperative with that. You know, like it's cool that you want to do whatever you want to do, but
you think he was? Do you think him gambling and some of his other habits?
I think that there's nothing wrong with anything that he did or didn't do, but I think that he was not cooperative with his brand image. Like he was very much his own person. He was very much his own person. But it's like you are Michael Jordan. There is
even if Mike would have came out during that time and apologized for it, even if he thought he was right.
Even like the thing where he didn't show up for the votes. Like bro, like you can do whatever you want to do, but there's gonna be consequences.
Yeah.
Like there you can't have your cake and eat it too.
If he would have said sorry for the gambling, even though he thought what he doing was okay, it would have been forgiven.
Or take your sunglasses off.
He didn't say sorry. Mike didn't apologize for doing it. He made it.
I don't think he should apologize for gambling.
I mean, but what I'm saying is that it went in line with his branding. He had to understand it.
Well, I guess
you weren't normal. You made a mistake in a sense of like what the moralities are set for your brand. You're not everybody else. Like Jim can get off of work and go to Atlanta to go gamble, but you're Michael Jordan. Kids seeing they want to be like you. You might want to wait before you get caught at 2:30 in the morning at the casino.
Yeah, or just you gotta. Unfortunately, when you're
shift your life, man.
Yeah, when you're in the spotlight like that, you gotta be aware.
Very much so to the point where everywhere we went somewhere and any people recognize us.
Oh man.
Like we change everything. Like we can't get caught doing certain things. We can't be doing something like it's just not saying that we do anything we're not supposed to. We never say that.
But that's
the reality of life.
That's
like
the cost.
Pat, you huge on this. Like you like I said I would allow you to help build my brand. If the brand was to grow, it would change dramatically. And it would be something that we created that like we have to live up to because people they're gonna hold you to their standards and yours.
And you don't have to do any of that, but recognize there's gonna be consequences.
That's it.
And I think that once those consequences came, he was like, man, what the fuck?
He got sensitive. Would you agree he was sensitive?
Yeah, he was.
He's sensitive as hell.
But like, I mean,
the older he's getting, it's more sensitive. I swear.
It's getting worse.
But man, it was a shock to find out that his father was murdered. Though I never knew that. That's fucked up. And
there was rumors that his rings were also taken too in that robbery.
Yeah. They were. If I'm not mistaken, they were.
I think they were.
Because his dad had that third ring from against Phoenix, and they took
his dads were wearing the ring.
And they said he took those rings when he left. He lost.
So like when you see that ring and you know that's Jordan's ring, at that point you don't shoot the motherfucking guy down.
I mean, but in reality, if I'm not mistaken, they shot the guy first.
Oh.
Yeah, they shot him first. Like he didn't. I don't know if they had a conversation when they say he woke up by getting shot in the chest.
Damn.
That's just like the worst of the worst.
That's the worst.
That's the worst.
That's fucked up, man. I never knew that. That's fucked up. Which
that's the worst way to go.
Which then leads me to. But like, what the fuck is the media talking about? They're like, what? He's leaving? Why? It doesn't make any sense. It's like, bro, he's fucking burned out.
What's the timing of the leaving? Like,
I get it.
It's so weird. So many things were happening. Not only like they said, the gambling, his father.
Yeah, the media.
And there was an investigation.
There was a real
investigation.
It was a good time for media because they could put out any article they wanted as long as it has Michael Jordan in the article. It's gonna fucking skyrocket in your whatever. But like, I don't like in hindsight. I guess looking at all this, I don't see why the media was so surprised that he was going to leave. Considering
the media shouldn't have been surprised.
Yeah, considering everything that was happening and his father. It's not even that his father passed from like natural causes. Like he lived.
Murdered.
He lived like what a fucking like that would rock.
I mean, the reason why it was shocking because he had just won 3 rings and he was still in his physical prime.
Yeah,
he
just turned 30.
He was like, and it wasn't like. He was, and he went on to win rings. But think about, he retired for almost a year and a half. He was on pace to be like astronomically like the greatest player ever. Yeah. At that time, he already was considered.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was shocked. I remember crying that day. Like we were at school crying.
Do you guys believe the conspiracies that it was a secret suspension or anything like that?
So I don't know. I go back and forth about it. Me and you talked about it. Me at one point, and me and him both agreed that we thought that he got secretly suspended, but.
It doesn't make any sense.
No.
But the thing is, like, that's what we talked about, though. I think you and I said, it's like, you gotta look who is all saying that. Mike handpicked the people to say that it ain't a conspiracy. Yeah. There are probably, the thing is, like, when some of these suspensions happen, you need, like, ownership. Like, all the owners need to agree to it. What they didn't talk about
was that Michael Jordan was under investigation by the FBI for the gambling.
Mm-hmm. It was more than just gambling. It was
a bunch of shit. It was bigger than that. And the NBA gave him time off because if Michael Jordan's under investigation, it's gonna be all the news of the league. Mm-hmm. And like when it was going on, supposedly they left him to go off and do baseball. And honestly, and I mean this, the baseball thing was supposedly a publicity stunt. Henceforth, all of that trying to prove, hey, I said I wanted to play ball. It's really something to take the light off the fact that he had other shit going on. Him playing baseball readily after leaving basketball. It was a publicity stunt. Like, we watched everything he did, even if it was good or bad with the Barons. I remember it like it was yesterday. So I mean, it could go either way. I don't want to put any speculation on what happened with his dad, but
it could be either way.
It could have been either way, bro. And either way it go, it was successful.
I just wasn't taking David Stern's word for it as much as you guys said. That's one. I mean, you could tell me all you want. You got the commissioner on there.
Yeah. I mean, the people that control the money, they can say whatever.
And how many times have you seen? Like, it's been plenty of guys retired, including Kobe. But David Stern's not sitting at the table. David Stern's not sitting at the table with you when you retire. Like, it's just different. Even though it was Mike's, it's different.
Crazy how big of a event that was. It was like the international press was there, crammed in that room. It was like a fucking
that was a practice.
It was like a presidential inauguration or some shit. You know, like it was a big event. That's crazy.
And I remember being a kid waiting to hear because we were all hoping that the rumor around Chicago was bullshit. He's not retiring. You know what I'm saying? They're just doing it. They doing this whole thing to announce he's signing a new deal. Blah blah this. And when Jerry Reinsdorf first kicked off the speech, he said today is a sad day because the greatest player in the world. We were like, oh! Just from the very beginning, they let us know,
yeah, they showed the shots of people like in the city, just like around all the TVs and shit. Like people were standing still watching that shit. That's crazy.
I remember we were asking the teacher, said, "What is Michael Jordan going to do now?" Because at first we didn't hear the baseball thing. First we were just leaving. It's just like, and she was so mad. She was like, "I don't know, fucking working McDonald's. I don't know. Like, what else can he do?" Like, I don't know.
Damn, that was a good one.
It was a good episode.
That was probably my favorite one.
Yeah.
That was very. Yeah,
that was good. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Doses. YouTube, if you want to get ahead of us on Patreon right now, check it out. Otherwise, see you next week. Bye.
Peace.
Thanks for watching The Last Dance with the Normies. Check us out on Patreon for early access and uncut content. Special shout out to Aaron, Desiree, Eleanor, Explorin' Dylan, I Eat Pink Tacos, Joe, Jules, Light Yagami, Michael, Nick, Puffy, Quentin, Ricky, Ruby Tiger, Bystander, Tristan, Keyboard Junkie, the NYR Fan, and ZJP. We'll see you all next time.